Jim, the other thing, sorry to cut you off, but I just want to say this. Since that's happened, you have seen some really weirdness in the capital markets. You've seen the equity risk premium go away. You've also seen the treasury bond premium go away relative to corporates. And the reason I believe that's happened is because everyone realizes there can never be another default, which means everything is going to end up in more printed dollars. So therefore there's no reason why equities would require a risk premium over bonds. And there's no reason to value corporate debt any differently than you value treasury debt, because it's all going to get printed.
Yeah, I mean, printing, so-called, is an interesting subject. The Fed has much less impact on all this than most people believe. The Fed's kind of almost a sideshow. By the way, I should probably issue a disclaimer at the beginning of this. I'm not an Austrian. I'm not a libertarian. So I do. I have my own analytical techniques, but the Fed's kind of irrelevant. And I know the Fed balance sheet was in 2008, December 2008, it was $800 billion. And by 2020, it was $10 trillion. I understand that. But it's also kind of irrelevant in the sense that, how does the Fed print money? Well, the way they do it, they call up the dealers, the primary dealers, but basically the big banks, and they buy securities. They call Goldman, they offer me 5-year notes. Goldman says, okay, here's the price, done. Goldman sends them the 5-year notes, and the Fed pays for them with money that does come out of thin air. So yes, the money comes out of thin air. That's absolutely right. Call it printed money. That's a perfectly colloquial way of expressing it. But the question is, what does Goldman do with the money? They give it back to the Fed in the form of excess reserves. So the money's sterilized. That's not the money that drives inflation. That's not the money that drives the economy. That money doesn't go anywhere. All you're doing is expanding both sides of the Fed balance sheet. You're expanding the asset side with securities. You're expanding the liability side with excess deposits.
I agree. And that's why the COVID stimulus, which came from the Treasury, was so much more inflationary.
Correct.
There's a reason why the world's best informed investors read my daily journal. Subscribe for free at portersjournal.com.